This podcast contains strong language and adult content.
Oh, that was kind of professional too.
Yeah, mate. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. Oh,
well, I shall do the introduction then.
absolutely.
Welcome everybody to this episode of Knights of the Braille called Jim and Richard. We're really two doofuses that think we know what we're talking about. I'm Richard, and with me, as always, is the one and only Gentleman Jim.
Oh, Gentleman Jim. What
Oh,
an honor from Richard of all people.
but anyway,
already,
Yeah.
before we even started. How are you doing, Richard?
Oh man, it's been a week. I know that anybody who listens to it won't know that we didn't record last week, but had a pipe bust in my laundry room, and that's also where I, have my freezer that I store all my delicious goodies in, as well as my hot water heater. And for anybody who doesn't know, those things run on electricity, and water, a puddle of water about an inch deep, along with electricity, and you're barefooted and blind, is not an ideal recipe for success.
That is a spicy swimming pool.
Exactly. It's not the kind of hot tub I want, but managed to get it fixed. And I am, like I was telling Jim before we started recording, I'm about 95% done with Mothership RPG, and I will never play it. I will never look at it again.
90% done in terms of completion and with ever looking at the game again.
Exactly. But yeah, I will. I will play it. Like I said, I'm 95% done with it, and Jim, I've got to stay off Drive Through RPG too. Oh man.
Off there this week.
Oh, there's so many good ones out there. Purchased 4 this week, and I'm about 50% to 70% done with converting the squared circle for my own personal use.
Yeah.
And the 4 that I did buy off of Drive Through RPG, thanks to their sale, is Buffy the Vampire Slayer role playing game, which I'm really excited about. A D6 football, a D6 baseball, and a Nitro. It's either Nitro Speed or Nitro Racing. I can't remember the title of it exactly, but it's a racing RPG as well. So excited about all of those.
I'm excited to play that baseball one because it's not so much an RPG; it's just like a fun dice game to play.
I was looking at it in the football, and it seemed to be like a really good icebreaker type of game.
Yeah, they're simple, and actually they're made by the same person, I think, right?
Yes, they are. TA Entertainment, I think.
Yeah, I think the baseball could be simplified a bit because there's the innings can take quite a while. I think you could simplify it a bit to get an inning going in a couple of minutes and play through a game in 10-20 minutes, because that's what I really want, is a game like that. 10-20 minutes is perfect. If it goes on for hours, I sort of lose a bit of interest.
It does. And there's probably a way to make it into like a play-by-post thing, but I mean, there'd probably be 1,000 different posts.
Yeah, I think you could boil it down into just playing one-on-one and then batting, and yeah, I think there must be a way to make it quicker, because I was reading through the rules and I was like, oh, these are really great, but then I realized that you have to do each individual batsman. That could take forever.
Right, and I want everybody to notice that I said that I got this game, and then Jim's like, "Oh, I'm going to go check it out." So he does listen to me, no matter what he says.
It really looks cool. The football one I didn't check out. I'm not that familiar with football, but it seems like every blind person in the States watches football.
Football and wrestling. Football and wrestling.
Absolutely, man.
And like I said, the KWF isn't too far away.
So how are those rules looking? Because I read through them briefly, but I didn't get a really good handle on them. How do you find them?
On the squared circle?
Yeah.
Really straightforward. I know most of the not really commentary, but in there it'll say, "Oh, you need to roll this percentile dice. Roll 1d10,
Yeah.
and then roll the other d10." And I sit there and think, why don't I just roll a D100? Because I have a website that actually has a D100 button on it. So, I mean, that's
Wh-
what I'm going to do there. But
For any folks that use Siri or Google, you have to roll 2d10. There's Crimzo actually in our Discord that taught me that in our Warhammer game, that you can't roll a D100. It has to be 2d10.
he don't know what he's talking about.
I
So why can't you roll a D100?
don't know. They haven't programmed it in yet. Maybe if more people use it, then it will get updated. I think their dice thing could be expanded to function in different ways and have different tools. I should really look into it. But actually, speaking of that, before we go back into the squared circle and some Buffy, Pixel Dice launched its Kickstarter this week. Pixel Dice is the company that has the talking dice, and for anyone visually impaired or sighted, it flashes as well, which is pretty cool. So I think it's about $200 to get a full set of dice in the charging case, which is pretty pricey, but for what they are, I personally think that's pretty reasonable if you're going to use them all the time.
Yeah.
I'm going to purchase a set. So yeah, if anyone is interested in the Pixel dice, you can find them on Kickstarter. They needed 250 grand. They got that in 6 or 7 minutes.
Oh,
Last time I
wow.
checked, they were at $2 million.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
Is really cool.
That is awesome. Yeah, I'm going to have to get me a set. I mean,
Absolutely,
unfortunately,
man.
we're not meeting locally anymore because our DM had to move, but we're meeting over Discord.
Oh,
Yeah, so, but I can still have them and, just roll them around like I'm all important. Like,
I think you can hook them up to an app on the computer. I'm not sure if that's going to work in conjunction with Discord at some point, but
right.
hopefully. But yeah, that's cool though. But
they announce through your Bluetooth earpieces too, right?
yeah, so it connects to your phone. So if you have a Bluetooth earpiece hooked up to your phone, it can go through that.
Yes. So that's what I do because I don't want everybody
Yeah.
seeing my nefarious text that I send to other people. I don't want them hearing it.
Well, my hearing aids are hooked up to my phone, so people will be talking to me, and then my phone will start ringing, and I'll just say to them like, "I can't hear you, my phone's ringing." And obviously, they can't see my hearing aids, and they're like, "What?"
Yes. So your hearing aids connect like via Bluetooth to your phone, then, right?
Yeah, they connect to my cell phone, so like I don't use VoiceOver to navigate, but I do use speak screen. So when I can't read something, I swipe 2 fingers down and it reads the screen to me, and it'll do it straight through my hearing aids. So no one has any idea that I'm using any kind of VoiceOver function.
Because I had hunted some like that for my left ear, which I can hear in if I have like those in ear earbuds, to so that I could possibly hear somebody talking to me on that side. Because if somebody comes up to me now and talks, it's like I'm being a jerk because I don't answer them because I don't hear them.
And then you can pretend which ear it is depending on whether you want to talk to them or not. Oh no, it's that ear I'm deaf in. Yeah, sorry, man, I didn't hear you. The hearing aids are bloody expensive. Canadian government chips in about $1,000 towards them, and then I had to pay 5 or 6 out of pocket, which is a lot of money. Again, the disability tax. We're born with disabilities or have unfortunate accidents, and then we have to foot the bill for it for the rest of our lives, which is really difficult and puts us at a huge disadvantage in many, many, many ways, which is a whole other hour topic. But Yeah, hearing aids is one that I feel is, you know, necessary. Like you need them to function, just to
Right.
like, even your confidence. I had when my hearing was getting really bad, my confidence was very low because I couldn't hear people. I have to figure out what they were saying through context and picking up a couple of words, and
Mm-hmm.
then nod my head and smile, not knowing what the fuck they're saying. As soon as I got the hearing aids, it just turned everything around. Where it was like, oh, I can hear everything you're saying and I can engage with you, and I felt
Yeah, because you
confident.
don't know what you're agreeing to, or
Well, the
you
other
know.
thing as well was that people were like, you were so fucking loud because I'd be talking loud all the time. And then
Right.
like I got hearing aids, and then my fiance started talking to me once I got them. I was like, Jesus Christ, it's so fucking loud. And she was like, that's how I have to talk because you can't fucking hear anything. And then so with the hearing aids, you push buttons on them to turn them up and down.
Right.
And one day my fiance was nagging me, and I went to scratch my head, and she was like, "Are you turning me down?" I was like, "No."
She is a very smart woman. Very, very smart woman. Uh,
But
that
yeah,
is awesome,
hearing
man.
aids are definitely a necessity. Much like you were saying before the podcast, you started using Seeing AI.
Yes, love the app. Jim had mentioned it, I think, in our last episode, actually. And of
Mhm.
course, me, it's like I'm going to download it. Well, I forget. I forget.
Oh yeah.
Now I finally remember, so I downloaded and had fun playing with it. Like putting things and then taking pictures of it. And, oh, that is a cup. And then I'd play hide and seek with the cup because I'd try to remember where I had set the cup. It's wonderful, wonderful fun whenever you're blind. You can play games with yourself, set a cup and try to find it. It's wonderful. Or when something falls out of the cabinet and it rolls for a ways, and you're like, huh, I hate things that roll. But I
Have-
mean, it has read a couple pages in the book to me because I was curious about that, like where menus in a restaurant are concerned. I wanted
mhm.
to see how something like that would work. But yeah, definitely a great app that I think everybody needs to get.
What about barcodes? Have you tried that function on it?
I have not. Um, the only things I have tried is the reading of the page and taking the picture of the cup to see if it would identify it. And there was one other one that the currency, um, checked it out. And I mean, everything I've checked out so far is accessible. It's fun. It seems to be really accurate too. Because I didn't tell my mom that I had it, and we was at the grocery store, and she had to go in. Well, she reads a lot, so I picked up her book and took a picture of the title of it and set it back down. And she sat down in the car. I said, "Oh, so you like this book, Bones of Avignon, right?" She said, "She said, yeah, it's really good." She's like, "How in the hell did you know?" I said, "Well, I got my sight back for like 10 seconds, and that's the first thing I looked at." And of course, she called me a lying ass, and you know, I told her about that. She said, "Oh, that is really, really cool."
Yeah, man, and it being free is feckin' amazing.
Oh man, it's definitely worth the price, everybody. Definitely worth the price.
And it's made by Microsoft. So anyone out there in the blind community that badmouths Microsoft, what the fuck are you doing, man? They're making loads of free shit now that you know they don't have to do.
Exactly. The only really problem that I have with Microsoft is Windows and
Yeah.
their constant updating, which seems to throw Jaws off.
Ah, fucking hell, man! It's made older versions of various Freedom Scientific softwares obsolete. These
Right.
Microsoft updates, but then as well, why the fuck aren't Freedom Scientific updating their stuff?
Exactly.
Yeah,
You
it's a
know,
two-way street, man.
yeah. And that's one reason that I can't stand Freedom Scientific,
No.
because they make it to where if it's 2 years past the release date, oh, you can't use it anymore.
That's fucking ridiculous when you're
It
paying
is.
hundreds of dollars.
It is. And I mean, I've And I've been in gentle, nice discussions with them about the same problem before, and they're like, "Well, you can upgrade." And it's
That's
like,
all they ever say.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I
I,
mean,
I get calls about that at work where people call me up. They're like, "Hey, man, is there nothing I can do about my software?" I was like, "The most you could do is use Windows Magnifier and Narrator for free.
yeah,
Freedom Scientific or arseholes, and they will charge you to upgrade."
yeah, and it's ridiculous, you know. And that's a good thing about the NVDA. I have never used it.
Unpaid, and it fucking works.
Yeah,
I might add.
you know, I mean that's what I've heard. I've never used it, so just going by hearsay, and it's like, why wouldn't people do it? You know, if they don't have any other option. But thankfully now, Freedom Scientific, the one good thing they have done is the $90 annual subscription fee.
Because they have no choice at this
Right.
point. And to be honest with you, their model is so outdated that they're not going to survive. They have no self awareness, and they haven't had someone come to them and review their company to say, "Hey guys, look, you need to consistently update stuff," and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. And if they say, "Hey man, look, we don't have the money to do that," then it's like, okay, well then you need to stick to one version, okay,
Mhm.
and you need to run a subscription model on that and keep everyone on the same page. We know that you love getting $165 every year, $700, $800, $1,000 from people, but
Mhm.
if you're not consistently updating stuff, you cannot justify that price. I mean, it is fucking insulting that you would charge more than a computer costs for accessibility software, and then 2 to 3 years later it doesn't work anymore. Like, get fucked.
Yeah. And that was the problem that I'm sure other people had, but me personally, I had is if the computer messes up, I'm screwed
Yeah, and
because
then
a
trying to
computer's
launch stuff with
250.
Narrator is
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous.
Oh. I mean, Narrator thankfully has gotten a lot better. I can use it to do things that I need to when, without a doubt, Jaws is going to mess up. I can use
Yeah,
it to do certain things. But yeah, Freedom Scientific, man,
yeah.
it
Let's not
is.
go down that fucking rabbit hole again. But yeah, they're a pain in the ass. So yeah, Seeing AI, amazing, free app, fantastic. The barcode function on it, when you've got voiceover running on your phone, it has a little sonar to help you find the barcode, which is amazing. So it'll go like boop, 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 as you get closer.
Ah,
So yeah, try it out, man. Let me know what you think.
I will definitely try that out. That could be like a reaction thing. I like
Absolutely, yeah. On a side note, Richard and I are going to start doing YouTube reactions. So keep an
suggestions.
ear out for that in the next few weeks. And yeah, suggestions, man. Any suggestions? But
Nothing
what I want
dangerous
to,
because I don't want him to like get hit by a car or anything, But
well, I think one of the reactions we're going to do is weird public instances and how we would react to them if we were there. You know, you with no functional vision, me with limited functional vision. What do we do in that situation? What goes through our heads? I think that could be interesting for people.
do I get one of those little warnings that what Richard says is not necessarily what the?
I can already imagine, but
Oh,
like
oh,
I'm in the subway and there's a crazy guy there, and I'm like, what is he doing? Does he have something in his hand? What the fuck?
yeah. How crazy is he? Is he related? You
Is it?
know.
Yeah, that's the worst one. Yeah. Oh shit, is that my cousin?
Oh man, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and definitely looking forward to some suggestions from people.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll do pretty much anything as long as it doesn't
Gonna
harm
rag on
somebody
anyone.
else.
Like I'm not doing reactions to trash
Right.
people, unless they're,
Yeah.
Jesse Bollinger. You know, three worst people. Gee, yeah, I'm not sure if you've read through it much. As I said in the Discord, I've never watched the show. So how does the RPG work? Like, are there classes? Do you
From
play
what
as the
I have
characters
read,
from the show?
and I haven't read much of it. I bought it because I'm a Buffy fan and wanted something different because we've had the whole discussion about D&D. There's y'all a free reaction.
Oh, is it just D&D in general?
It's more so the nitpicky people that want, you know.
What
So I
you
bought
will, it's
this because,
homebrew.
like I said, I love Buffy. I love the whole lore of it. The seems to be really accessible. And like I said, I haven't gone through much of it, so more reading of it will tell me whether I'm getting ticked off or not. But I believe that you can create your own player, or you can choose to play as one of the characters from the TV show. The other thing is, from the description that I read, that little preface up at the beginning of all the RPG books that you
Oh,
get.
at the beginning of those books where it's always like, here's how an RPG works. It's like, I already fucking know that.
Right. This one had a little something different in it. You can either do like the little one shots, which would be a quote unquote episode, or you can do like either a mini campaign or a full on campaign that's called a season.
That's clever.
And yeah, I really liked that. I mean, same thing, but I really liked how they worded it different,
Mm-hmm.
And another reason that I had gotten it was because I will take my monster manual that I have, and there will be some monsters from there in any episodes or seasons that are in Buffy. Because I can see how you can mesh both of them together.
Yeah.
You
That'd be
know,
really cool, like hunting the monsters.
yes. I thought, that could be a lot of fun. Whether or not I do like a season or just do one shots here and there, I don't know yet. But it seems to be really easy to follow, and I'll tell you more, like I said, after I get through reading it.
I'd never watched Buffy before, but something that I thought about it when you mentioned the RPG is that it seems like a show where the bad guy is very rarely just, oh, they're evil, we're going to kill them. There's a character behind them and something more to interact with. So it seems like in that game it wouldn't be a D&D like cut its head off. It'd be more of a more role play heavy than anything.
That's what I think. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they actually had the evil bad guy, play off in the game. I know, like in the show, I mostly started watching it because I could see, and Sarah Michelle Gellar was just hot, But eventually, I got caught up into the whole storyline and all of that, and it's like it was secondary then that she was, attractive. That it's like, oh man, vampires and zombies, and there's actually plots to this,
Yeah.
And Angel with the whole background of, the only vampire that has a soul.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, and David, what's it, Borealis? Is that how you say his last name?
I've no idea. I remember seeing a couple of episodes of Angel actually.
Yeah, he's just good.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a lot of role playing, and until you get to the big bad, of course.
Yeah. And then the big bad is just you got to kill him. There's no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 1, season 1, the big bads, it's going to be Jesse. I mean,
Of
he's just
course.
going to be stomping around, killing everything, and trash talking.
So I'm running my first play test for the game I've been working on for a while today, Richard.
Oh.
Yeah, man, I'm
Well.
excited. I'm very excited. It's World War One, but with some horror elements thrown in there. Not crazy, not over the top. It's more cosmic horror than actual horror. But I'm
Right.
excited to try it because I did the dice system for beginners because I find that a lot of the dice systems can be quite complicated.
Yes.
So I just did basically blackjack as a dice system. So your strength is 16. Keep rolling dice as many as you can without going over 16, and that's how many successes you have.
Oh.
So I think that's something people will pick up easily. So we'll try that out today. There's obviously a few other factors thrown in there for fun. I took the stress system from Aliens and the combat zones I've taken because that worked well in Wrath and Glory. And actually, I took elements from Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay for weapon design. I'm looking forward to running it, see how it goes. It's the first time. It'll obviously be another year or two before I'm done with it. But yeah, I'm
Right.
excited, man.
Oh man, I am too. I am too.
So
And
I'll give you an update next week.
unfortunately, I mean, I would love to play in it or love to have played in it, but man, time frames, there's.
It's okay, man. You're a busy boy. Today, I can tell you because this will air after. We're doing a murder mystery, so that'll be fun.
Oh yeah. From the candlelight thing. Oh no no no
No,
no.
no,
From
no.
okay, in your game.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they're going to be locked in a fort that's being bombed, and then someone gets murdered, and they got to figure out who it is. So I think people always enjoy murder mysteries, no matter what the universe is.
Oh exactly. Yep. I mean, granted, I never figure them out, but I still like
Uh,
playing in them.
I think it's the intrigue more than actually solving it. I mean, solving it's great, but I think it's not knowing and
Yeah, the
being
unknown.
suspicious. Yeah, that's what people enjoy. I think.
I agree with you. That's one of the things I've always wanted to do is at murder mystery theater. Where you go in, you eat supper, and
Yeah, yeah.
I've always wanted to do one of those. But uh, you also have something else coming up, don't you? A zombie something.
I do. Yeah, I haven't finished planning it all yet, but yeah, we're going to run a mini zombie campaign, and I've just basically used the Alien RPG system for it because it seems
Mhm.
like the best suited. And yeah, we're just gonna dump a bunch of people into the beginning of a zombie apocalypse and see what happens. I'm not gonna plan out where they go or what they do. I'm just gonna say you're in a small town in America. It has what you'd imagine it has. You let me know. We'll figure out what's where. And I planned a bunch of events to happen along the way.
Ah, yes. I love zombie stuff. I don't know why. I think it's
It's
because.
just.
Go ahead.
I'll go ahead. Oh, it's tough to figure out how to plan it because I don't want to lock the players in one little location, but I also don't want to railroad them. So yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on just saying to them like, "Hey, man, here's a small town, go crazy."
I like that. And whenever you're saying that, I was thinking about the town that I live in that is really small. I'd say, something like you wake up and the whole world has changed, but not let them realize that it's changed until they walk out the door and there's a freaking dead corpse coming at them.
Well, one of the things that I'm implementing in this that I've not done before, and I thought that might be useful, is to have the characters write out their daily routine as their background, like your regular life. What do you do? And then that can sort of inform how prepared someone might be for the apocalypse.
Yeah, that is a great idea, Giles. Excellent idea. That sounds like something he would do. I
Oh
like
man,
that though.
we'll see how it goes. To be honest with you, like I've looked through um, the different zombie games out there, and I don't really not that keen on a lot of them.
Right. I haven't really looked at any of them.
There's a few, but I mean the other problem is as well that they're really in depth, and when you're running a short campaign, you don't want something too deep.
Right. You don't want it, and I don't mean this the bad way, and I know you know that. You don't want to invest a lot into it because it's only going to be like a 4 or 5 week
Yeah,
campaign.
absolutely. That's the other reason why D&D is difficult for a one shot is because you have to invest quite a lot in character creation.
Right. And also, we've talked about it before with the whole one shot. You're trying to get something in there for everybody.
Well, today is I'm gonna try and finish the damn story in 2 to 3 hours. I'm making a fucking one shot. I'm doing it. I'm not dragging it out. We'll see what happens. I don't think it will.
Good luck with that. Let
I
me
know.
know how that turns out for you.
Terribly, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's why I'm
I've
letting
never,
time
never,
select.
ever finished a fucking one shot in two
Are
to
you
three hours.
seriously?
No, I it always ends up evolving into something else or dragging out, or I don't want to push players along too quickly.
You're too nice of a guy. Me, I'm like, look, we've been here for 2.5 hours. Y'all are like 6 hours away from the bad guy. He appears. Now y'all fight him.
that's that's a good idea.
Because my ass is going to bed in about 45 minutes.
Yeah, do you know what, man? On a side note, I'm so we've been in lockdown here for over a year now, and
Right.
I'm so fucking mentally drained that I don't have the energy for long RPG games or sessions at the moment. I
I
just
can
don't have it in me,
understand that.
man. Yeah.
I can understand that. And speaking of that, by the time this episode comes out, I will have had um my vaccination. I go this upcoming Wednesday to get a shot. I don't know if it's which version of it's going to be because I've heard that there's some that takes 2 shots, some that take one.
Yeah.
So I don't know which one I'll be getting, but I know I go this upcoming Wednesday to get mine. So
Congratulations, man. That's fantastic.
yeah, and then I'll have all the little nanobots in me, and the government can control my every movement and know
Oh
what I'm
man, all
saying.
this stuff, the shit that people are coming out with about these injections. It's like, if the government can't find their ass with both hands, how are they going to put fucking nanobots in you, you dickhead?
Exactly, they'll turn my brain into like a
Oh
microwave, and oh
God.
man, that's all right. They can't get
Ah.
past my tinfoil hat.
People give the government way too much credit with their conspiracy theories, man. Way too much credit.
Oh man, I agree. I agree. That could be. Oh, there's another reaction. See, this is what I'm doing.
Oh
I'm
man,
creating
we're not going
reaction.
down that political rabbit hole. Jesus, I don't even care about politicians or anyone that
Uh,
argues on their behalf like a fucking idiot.
I agree. I'm not
Yeah,
a
man.
politician or a fan of them. I'm a fan of
Nope.
Richard and Giles. So
When people are like, which political party do you support? I can barely support myself, you fucking idiot. Go away.
it's the IDC party. Oh, which one's that? I don't care. Yeah, they win every election and everything.
Well,
Uh,
man, I think that's a good place to end it this week. Next week, we will try to get a reaction out. We'll do it. I'm not sure if we're going to do it on the podcast as well as YouTube. Maybe we'll just do it for YouTube so that people sighted people and visually impaired people can see the video we're watching. But yeah, we'll figure that out, and more of the podcast next week. We'll have lots to talk about. Hopefully, Richard would have tried the barcode function with Seeing AI, which is pretty exciting.
yeah, works for me. Well, I
Awesome.
guess we'll hear you next week then.